All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about one of the most powerful tools you can have in your scripting arsenal, bash loops. Seriously, if you're ready to take that first big step towards real honest-to-goodness automation, you're in exactly the right place. I mean, think about it. You've been there, right? Maybe you had to resize 100 images or check the status of a dozen different servers, or even just rename a whole folder full of files. It's so tedious, so boring, and honestly, it's the perfect way to make a silly mistake. And that is the magic we're going to unlock today. Scripting, and specifically loops, let you tell the computer, hey, do this thing again and again and again, so you don't have to. It's really the core of working smarter, not harder. Okay, so let's start with the absolute foundation. If you only learn one type of loop from this, make it the for loop. This thing is your go-to, your bread and butter. It's the true workhorse of repetition. So here's the key idea. A for loop is for when you're dealing with a known quantity. You've got a list of 5 files or 10 servers, or you just want to count from 1 to 100. You know exactly where you're starting and where you're ending. It's predictable. And look at how simple the structure is. All we're saying is, for each item in this list, in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, let's call it I for now, and then do something with it. Here we're just printing it out to the screen using the echo command. And the result? Well, it's exactly what you'd expect. No surprises here. The script just ran our echo command for each number in that list one by one. Simple, clean, and super effective. But, what if you wanted to count to 1,000? Typing out every single number would totally defeat the purpose of automation, right? Well, thankfully, Bash has this fantastic shortcut for exactly this situation. And here it is, that shortcut in action. Instead of typing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can just use these curly braces with 1:5. Those 2 little dots tell Bash, hey, generate the whole sequence for me. It's so much cleaner, it's faster, and it gives you the exact same result. This is a real game changer. So now let's build on that with something a little more dynamic. What happens if you don't know how many times you need to loop? What if you need to repeat a task based on, say, a condition? Well, that's where while and until loops come into play. You can think of a while loop like this. Keep doing this thing while some condition is true. For example, keep checking the server status while its CPU usage is above 80%. The very second that condition becomes false, the loop just stops. Okay, let's look at this in practice. We start a counter, I, at 1. The loop's condition is basically, while I is less than or equal to 5, keep going. Now, the most important part is inside the loop. We have to increment that counter with I equals I plus 1. If we forgot that, the condition would always be true, and we'd be stuck in an infinite loop. Now, the until loop is basically the mirror image of while. It runs until a condition is finally met. Think of it like, keep trying to connect to the server until it responds. The loop keeps going while the condition is false, and it stops the very moment it becomes true. This lays it all out perfectly. A while loop runs when a condition is true and stops when it becomes false. An until loop does the exact opposite. It runs when the condition is false and stops the moment it becomes true. So here's a good rule of thumb. Use while for things you want to continue, like while a service is still running, and use until for a goal you're trying to reach, like until a file has finished downloading. Okay, but what if you need even more precise control inside your loop? Let's say you need to skip over just one specific item in your list. Well, Bash gives us a really powerful command for that called continue. Just imagine you're processing a big list of files, and you want to ignore any of them that are temporary files. Continue is perfect for this. It doesn't stop the whole loop. It just says, hey, ignore this one thing and move on to the next one in line. So in this example, the loop is counting from 1 to 5, but we've added a little condition. If our variable I is equal to 3, then run the continue command. This tells the loop to immediately jump to the next iteration, completely skipping the echo command for the number 3. And here's what happens. The numbers 1 and 2 get printed. But when the loop hits 3, our if condition is met, continue gets triggered, and the echo command is totally skipped. The loop then just moves right along to 4 and 5. This gives you almost surgical precision inside your loops. All right, so this is all great in theory, but where does the rubber actually meet the road? Let's take a look at how you're really going to use these loops to make your life a whole lot easier. And this is probably one of the most common and powerful uses out there. Loops are absolutely fantastic at working with things that aren't numbers, like, say, a list of file names in a directory. The key part here is that .txt. That's a wildcard that basically means match any file that ends in .txt. The for loop then grabs every single matching file name and runs our code on it one by one. Can you imagine using this to convert or compress or even back up hundreds of files with just a few lines of code? It's so powerful. And really, the possibilities are endless. You could use a while loop to constantly monitor your disk space. You could use a for loop to process a batch of files you just downloaded. You could check if a web server is still running every 5 minutes. This is where scripting really starts to save you a ton of time and effort. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, so let's boil it all down into a simple, powerful cheat sheet. This will help you remember the key tools in your brand new automation toolkit. Here it is, your decision guide. If you know the count ahead of time, use for. If it's all based on a condition, you'll probably want while. To skip the current item and just move on to the next one, use continue. And we didn't show an example, but if you need to just stop the loop entirely, the command for that is break. Keep this handy and you'll always know which tool to grab for the job. So, I'll leave you with this question. Think about your daily workflow. All those boring, repetitive things you do with the command line. Now that you've got the power of loops, what's the very first thing you're going to automate? Thanks for joining me.